So this will be a short video on Charlemagne the Devil and Stephen A. Smith on the topic of, if you don't vote for Joe Biden, you're not so-called black. Okay. But Mr. Charlemagne the Devil is a Marxist, a leftist, meaning what? He's a Luciferian, and he preaches this false ideology of equality. He wants to kiss the white man's ass and be equal with him, but also scream white supremacy, the race hustler or race baiter game. At the end of the day, in the so-called black community, we have minstrels, meaning what? Entertainers, poets, rappers, athletes, as leaders of the quote-unquote black community. In any other community, they do not have athletes, rappers trying to sell the common people ideologies of who to vote for or what to vote for.
Is black MAGA, because it feels like MAGA is so against the basic interest of black people.
I would have to argue that point because a lot of so-called blacks side with the Democratic Party, mainly because they teach our people the indoctrination of slavery. And I also have to question anyone who says that you're not black if you don't vote for Biden. You know, oftentimes I see on YouTube or TikTok, certain so-called blacks or African Americans go to various countries and try to tell people that they're quote-unquote black. Well, black is not a culture, black is not a race, and black has no land to go to. A lot of these other places have real cultures, language, heritage, customs, and so forth. If we consider black a culture, then we have to consider the prison system. We have to consider the death rates. We have to consider low in statistics and education and a whole bevy of issues, okay? And hip hop, which is the, rabbit hole of degeneracy and so forth. I mean, what has it really produced?
That's why even when, President Biden was on Breakfast Club and he said, if you don't know whether to vote for me or Trump, then you ain't black. That didn't insult me because I understood what he was saying.
I'm not voting for him. I can tell you that much right now. I'm not voting for him. But it's not because of his politics. It's because of his behavior, the kind of person I think he is, and and I believe that he could potentially cause civil war in this country.
And these are the thoughts of the boule Negroes, minstrels, and entertainers in the Hollywood sphere that are giving you opinions and ideas based on Donald Trump. Now, I'm apolitical. I don't have a dog in the fight. I can care less because I know what's going to happen to this country based on the Hebrew text and scriptures, okay? But, when you listen to these two cats, they sound real foolish, and they're bought and paid for it. Okay, they're corporate sponsors or whatnot. But Stephen A. Smith, he's a boule Negro, okay? And I do believe that Stephen A. Smith, the comments that he made about Donald Trump and Civil War. But we must remember in Hollywood, they have a thing called predictive programming through the movies, television, and so forth. So you believe that this one man is going to incite a civil war? But look at the statistics of everything that's been happening in this country for over 20, 30, 40 plus 50 years. It's been on the decline. What they call white supremacy is nothing but white rulership. Okay, the Caucasians are in their rulership. And it doesn't last long. Okay, the peak of the rulership was in the early 18 or mid 1900s. Okay, World War I, World War II. Okay, they don't have a lot of time to rule. And it's also stated in the scriptures in 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning that followeth. This is why when you read the scriptures or the Torah in Deuteronomy 7 and 6, it says, you are a chosen people ahead of every nation. I'm paraphrasing that, but in all essence, meaning what? We have enough will, spiritual, and mental capacity to start things on our own. We do not need the approval of other nations or black and Jewish relations.
There are people who feel that I'm ridiculous when I say that. What do you feel about that?
No, I 100% agree. I mean, we're looking at a Republican Party who's been overtaken by fascism. And it's not even close. Like, this guy already tried to lead an attempted coup of this country on January 6, 2021. This isn't hyperbole when we say these things. He's done these things already. Like this.
Now, one will have to question the 8 years of former President Barack Obama, a lot of the choices that he made in the White House. A lot of so-called blacks or African Americans figured out that this quote-unquote brother, which he's not one of us, didn't do anything for the so-called black community, but he was more in favor with the alternative lifestyles that we see today. People identifying as non-gender or, whatever animal or being that they want to be. But to me, that's madness. And to me, that's Luciferianism, to rebel against the Most High. Okay?
This is a man who said we should overturn the Constitution. I mean, we should get rid of the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. This is a man whose lawyers were in court saying, well, he never promised to support the Constitution. I don't care what color you are, what your sexuality is, what your gender is. If you call yourself an American, you cannot want somebody to lead this country who doesn't believe in the Constitution.
So what does it say to you that there are people in this country who do apparently want that particular individual, knowing those specific positions, back in that seat, back in that White House, come 2024? What does it say to you about the state of our country that you have people who have no problem with seeing him right back where he once was?
Well, they've accepted fascism.
And I have to disagree with his statement. If you don't vote at all, does it mean that you're fascist? No. A lot of people are waking up to the fact that there's no dog in the fight. So, we have to go back to our ancient book. What does it tell us? Come out of her. This notion of black versus white, white versus black, Democratic versus Republican, blood versus Crip, Hegelian dialectic, okay? It leads nowhere. It's a rabbit hole or a maze. And you'll continue to get stuck in this nonsense until its demise.
And those are the people who I feel like they want their rights to be racist back. You know what I mean? They want white supremacy to reign supreme over this nation.
Like I stated before, this cat always screams white supremacy, but he's on Caucasian or corporate sponsored networks, podcasts, etc. It's obviously that Charlemagne the Devil is of the Luciferian or far left Democratic Party. I mean, look who he sided with in 2016, Hillary Rodham Clinton. Okay, and that bitch is evil as I don't know what.
Like, that's what, if people can say whatever they want, that's what this country was founded on. Like, when those founding fathers sat down at their table and they were talking about, liberty and freedom and justice for all, they wasn't talking about people that look.
America was not found on Christianity, like Mr. Jason Whitlock likes to state in some of his videos. I'm not going to call that man a coon, but I do believe he is very delusional, especially, when it comes to the scriptures, like all or not most Christians. And Mr. Charlemagne, this country was found on Freemasonry. It's all around us. Look at the hand gestures and symbols. Here we go. Here's another still shot of Mr. Charlemagne. But didn't he just say that, we suffer from white supremacy? So why is he hugging his oppressor? Especially this, excuse my language, but this woman is evil. Once you do enough research on this woman and Pizzagate and all the different code words that these people do behind closed doors. But, Charlemagne the Devil, this dude's a joke. So right here in this magazine cover, we have Mr. Charlemagne the God, or AKA the Devil, Black Enterprise, spreading nothing but the truth. As we can see right here, we have the Marxist fist, which is in all, goes back to ancient Kemet or ancient societies. And we see the duality of the black and the white, the Freemasonry, right? This is funny. Right here, we have another still shot of Mr. Charlemagne the God, Angela Yee, and this clown right here, DJ Envy, with this evil woman, Hillary Rodham Clinton. Now, what we see in the background, fighting for us. But what does our history tell us about these different nations and factions? They don't really care about us. Like Michael Jackson said, they don't really care about us, okay, at the end of the day. So in the Book of Lamentations 4 and 17, it states, as for us, and our eyes have yet failed for our vain help in our watching, and we have watched for a nation that could not save us, because this nation is based in wickedness and unrighteousness, and the hourglass is beyond full.